Hello, I'm Marc Epstein. My co-author, Kirk Hanson, and I have just completed a book called Rotten: Why Corporate Misconduct Continues and What to Do About It. It addresses a critical challenge facing individual companies and the business world as a global system. It makes specific recommendations on how to resolve it. Kirk and I would like to answer one of the most asked questions about the book.
When Marc and I tried to understand why corporate misconduct continues, why it happens in the first place, we focused on three hypotheses that are common when people talk about corporate misconduct. One is that it's mostly due to individuals who are simply bad, individuals who violate the rules of their own company, individuals who break the law either to increase their own bonuses or their own productivity, something like that, that it's not a corporate problem. It's the problem of individual wrongdoers. That's typically called the bad apple theory. And to tell you the truth, a lot of companies would love to have it always be the bad apple and not somehow because of failings by the company. And we think bad apples exist and that they do cause problems. Sometimes bad apples are even in the executive suite. And so in our book, we discuss some of the CEOs that have gone bad. A second theory is that it is the company which incents or motivates people to do the wrong thing on behalf of the company, to increase profits, to make a sale by hiding certain facts, whatever, to avoid certain kinds of costs. The corporate culture is often called the bad barrel problem. And probably the greatest example we've seen in recent years, addressed in the book, is that of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's sales system incented its many people in the sales offices to create fake accounts for their clients because they were paid on the basis of opening accounts. And the standards were so strict that the people began to cheat, and motivated by the company to achieve those goals no matter what, they began to falsify widely. And there were some 5,000 Wells Fargo salespeople who were fired for creating fake accounts and doing damage to the consumer. You can't tell me that there could be 5,000 bad apples suddenly in any organization. This is clearly a problem of a bad culture, a bad barrel. Marc and I think make a contribution in that we've identified a third kind of problem. We call it the bad orchard problem, which is that the organization exists within a broader culture. Some people are concerned about capitalism itself. The free market system gives certain incentives that will lead inevitably to misconduct. Other kinds of concerns would be trying to do business in certain countries that have very corrupt business environments, and that it's very hard to do business by ethical standards. And indeed, we think that is a serious problem, and many companies are drawn in to bribery, trying to do business in certain countries. Many companies, through the normal workings of the market system, or maybe a very highly disciplined demand for corporate quarterly earnings, will engage in some shady behavior. But the point is that all three of these make a contribution to why there is corporate misconduct. Marc, you want to add anything?
So I think, Kirk, I think your description are terrific. I guess you mentioned Wells Fargo, and I guess I just wanted to comment that you mentioned about the 5,000 people that were fired. But if you recall, the CEO at that time said that he had 5,300 bad apples. And obviously, as the point you make, is that there aren't 5,000 bad apples. It really is reflective of a bad barrel that is causing this bad behavior. And so when we think about these bad apples, but then when we think about bad barrels, I also think about BP. And what concerns me about BP is that they had the incident in Texas City where there an explosion and people died. And they had experience in both Dallas and in Alaska where they had pipeline problems and refinery problems. So this was before the Deepwater Horizon issue. And so it ends up looking like it's systemic. And what companies need to do is deal with this and deal with the culture issues, deal with the incentive issues that you mentioned, deal with the governance and the control issues. And then just as you were talking about Orchard, I was thinking about Rana Plaza, which was in Bangladesh, where over 1,000 people died working in the garment industry. And these are people working in a garment industry in Asia. And the garment industry is often an issue because they're being pushed for lower prices. And Asia is often an issue. And so one has to be very careful as one goes into different geographies and in certain industries where misconduct is often a bit more prevalent.
Thanks.